Welcome back. Part 5, Episode 5, May 28, 2022, 1:32 a.m. Patty message. She wrote, "Who is D? Beep. Ask the post office who signed for this." What the heck, Em? 6:56 a.m. I wrote, "I don't know who D. Beep is, but someone picked it up by that name. I'm going to call them Tuesday to see what they say. Then I will do something different. Do you have any ideas?" After I had messaged Patty, I fell back asleep and slept until 8:30. When I woke up, I thanked God, but I do have a heavy heart. Madison and Zoe got up and wanted to go to a truck meet, and I thought about it for only a moment and told them, "Yes, we will go." We got ready to leave and went down the road to the cemetery before we left the area. 11:16 a.m. Madison pulled into the cemetery to see Megan and Wyatt. Madison pulled up to Wyatt. We sat with him for a few minutes, and then she pulled around on the other side of the cemetery to visit with Megan. I took pictures in Megan's area, and it is still flooded, puddles here and there. We talked with Megan, and I asked both my angels to help this city to take care of this and to let it be done. And thank you, babies. Thank you, dear God. We pulled out of the cemetery. As we were riding down the highway, my phone rang, and it's Patty. 11:44 a.m. We talked for about 20 minutes. She wanted to know what that receipt was I was talking about. I told her they are saying they didn't get my case packet, and I have proof of someone by the name of D. B picking it up. Patty said, "What the hell? I thought it was someone picked up your mail from the post office." I said, "No, it's where I sent the case, and they are saying they didn't receive it, and I have the receipts from sending it." Patty said, "Did you call there to find out what's going on?" I said, "I will on Tuesday. I didn't get the mail on Friday until 6:20 p.m. Patty said, "Yeah, call Tuesday and let me know what they say." "They're playing games, Em." I said, "I will." And yes, they are. They think they are. Patty said, "That's some bullshit." I said, "Oh, I know. They are just digging a deeper hole." Patty said, "Well, yeah." We talked a little longer and hung up. I sat back in the seat crying at times and asking God why. Why does this keep happening? I tried to enjoy my time away from home for the night, but my heart is heavy. It's a heavy weight on it again. 2:03 p.m. Jen called. We talked for a little while. She said I was talking to Mike about that message of the letter, so he got online to see if there is a D. B that works there. She said there is no D. B, but there is a B. B. I'm just thinking maybe the post office printed up the wrong letter for the first name. I said, "You got to be kidding me." She said, "Yes. Mike said when you call there, ask if the mail is received in another area of the office, or is it someone in the office that picks up the mail? Because something doesn't make sense here." I said, "No, it doesn't." Jen said, "No, something certainly doesn't make sense." I said, "I will call Tuesday. Or will you call and put me on three-way and you talk and ask what Mike said to ask, and then we can talk on the call?" Jen said, "Yes, we can do that." I said, "All right, we will call Tuesday then." She said, "All right. When you get where you're going, I want to talk to you about something, and let us know you made it. Have a good time and don't let people get you down." I said, "All right, I will call you when we get there." "All right, baby, and you know I won't." Hours later, we arrived at the truck meet we went to see, and it is hot here. After we left the truck meet, we walked around a flea market that's nearby just for something to do. We went to check into the motel and unpack the car. And after we were settled, Madison and Zoe wanted to go see the night lights. They left, and I sat on the bed, kicked back, typing to catch up on the timeline. 8:32 p.m. I called Jen back. We talked for about 20 minutes, and she just needed to talk. And I love you, baby, and thank you for everything you do. 9:05 p.m. I messaged Jen. I wrote, "Did you say Mike said there was a D?" Beep. Jen wrote, "There is no D. Beep. But there is a person with the last name. Beep. But the first name starts with a B." That was a lawyer, so if someone works in the mailroom, they might have the name D. Beep. I wrote, "Oh, okay. Thank you, baby." By the time Madison, and Zoe got back, I was about halfway through getting the timeline caught up. They got ready for bed, and so did I. And thank you, Madison, for thinking of me to get me out of the house. May 29th, 2022. We woke up a bit late this morning, but we got up and hurried to get the car packed, and I got in the shower. We got on the road and found a restaurant, and the food was delicious. We ate until we got full. We got back on the road, and Madison drove until she couldn't anymore because she's tired. So I drove the rest of the way home. We made it safely. And thank you again, Madison. When we got home, we enjoyed some sun in the backyard. When we went inside, Zoe went to her friend's house, and Madison hung out with her friends, TT and Oscar. Or maybe I don't have that name right. His name may be Victor. 7:12 p.m. I called my brother John. He talked for a few minutes, and then he fell asleep in the chair. So Gail, his wife, took the phone. She and I talked for an hour and 15 minutes. We talked about our great niece's wedding. We talked about a nephew that had a stroke. We talked about Madison's graduation party. She asked, "Have you heard any more?" I said, "Yeah. Oh, yeah, I have." I told her what the Attorney General's office is up to. She said, "No way. What the hell are they thinking?" I said, "I don't know, but it's not over." Gail said, "They just keep digging themselves a hole." I said, "That's what everyone else said. They just keep digging the hole deeper and deeper." Gail said, "Yep." We talked a little longer and we let each other go. Have a good night. I caught up on some more of the timeline until I got tired. And thank you, dear God, for this day. May 30th, 2022. This morning, of course, I thanked God. I thank my angels. It just seems like I'm not seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. My heart is so heavy, so heavy. I'm going through the motions to get through today, and I'm waiting for Tuesday morning. And I pray this is not what it seems to be. And it seems to be like they are siding with the city and nothing else matters. 12:17 p.m. I started copying the papers in the case file, and I copied each paper twice. I will now have a few more files to pass out or send out. 1:22 p.m. I went to get Madison from work on her break to go pick up the rest of her graduation decorations. After I dropped her back off at work, I was driving home and I saw the time on the clock, and it was 2:22 p.m. I looked at it, then looked again, and I said in a soft voice, "Oh no, baby, I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up on any of this." I drove home and I had to sit down. 4:00 p.m. Madison came in for lunch. After we ate, I changed the ink in the copy machine and started copying the papers again of the case file. At 5:48 p.m. I finished. I got it done. And God help me with this. Help me to know why I keep hitting the brick walls, to know why this keeps happening. What am I doing so wrong? I tried to get through the rest of the day without thinking too much into it. May 31st, 2022. When I woke up this morning, I felt a bit sick to my stomach. I have to wonder who is on my side and who isn't. I got up and I started my day, and I wrote some notes of what I need to get done. 8:38 a.m. I sent Summer a message. I wrote, "Good morning, Summer. I hope you had a great weekend and things are well for you. I wanted to share this with you and see what you think. I sent in all my proof of the city knowing me with court papers and pictures, and I received Friday a letter saying they didn't receive the information. I'm calling the Attorney General's office this morning. When I was off the message from her, I called Jen. I asked her to call this morning. It just seemed I didn't have the strength. And we will take turns calling until they return our calls. Jen said, all right, I will. 9:48 a.m. Jen called. She had to leave a message and she left my phone number to return the call back to me. She told me, a lady answered and sent me to another extension and I left a message and left your phone number. I thanked her and we talked a few minutes and hung up. I had no return call today. I didn't hear anything from Summer. I was talking to my daughter and she said, Mom, you should be enjoying life right now. I said, oh, I know, but I have been working on this for as long as Jose Jr. was a year old. He is now 8, and it's not fair to them, any of them. Madison said, it's not fair to Megan either, and she doesn't have a voice. I said, oh, I know, baby, and we will continue to be her voice until this is resolved. Thank you, baby, for thinking of Megan. June 1st, 2022. It is my day to call since I did not hear from anyone yesterday. 10:41 a.m. I called. It rang for 2 minutes. And I only know that because when I hung up, the time was 10:43 a.m. I couldn't even leave a message. So in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, what are these people up to now? It worried me all afternoon. And I have worked on my timeline for the legal brief and proofreading as I do find the information I need. 2:04 p.m. I called again to the Attorney General's office. A lady answered and she switched me over to another extension, as she did to Jen the day before, and I left a message. 2:06 p.m. I messaged Carla to let her know I was able to leave a message. I waited to hear all afternoon again, and no return call. I pray the people are not like the city of beep. I pray they can get this taken care of. 4:38 p.m. Madison and I went to the cemetery, and it's flooded. I took some pictures and I prayed to my angels about the Attorney General office losing the file. When we were done, I pulled out of the cemetery, carrying a heavy heart, but I know I will get this other file in as soon as I can. And thank you, dear God, for standing by me, guiding me, and watching over me. June 2nd, 2022. Well, this morning when I woke up, I thought, okay, I have got to come up with another plan. I have got to find a way. And I keep giving them the benefit of the doubt, saying, okay, maybe there is a reasonable explanation that they have it and the person that picked it up set it somewhere, or it's in the back seat of their car, or maybe they laid it on a desk and it got mixed up with other papers. And they will find it and call to apologize. And that's me wishful thinking. 1:24 p.m. I'm sitting at my desk writing on the timeline and my phone rang. It's a lady asking to talk to me. I said, this is her. She said, I'm calling from the Attorney General's office and I'm wondering about the message. I said, well, I had received a letter stating the city of beep doesn't know me, and I sent in the paperwork to prove they do know me. And then Friday I received a letter saying the case is closed because I didn't send any response. And I did send in my response on April 25th, and on the 26th, someone picked it up. I have my receipt where I mailed it in, and my email receipt that someone picked it up on April 26th at 10 in the morning. The lady said, we didn't receive anything here. I have searched all over this office, and there was no one that picked it up. I said, it was picked up from a D. B. She said, ma'am, we don't have anyone here by the name of D. B. We have a list online of our employees, and there is no D. B. in this office. I said, yeah, I know, but there is a B. B, because someone had gone online to search for the employees there. And there, you're right, there was no D. B, but there is a B. B. She said, there was no one from this office that had picked it up. I said, oh, wow. I said, this story just keeps getting deeper and deeper. And now we're suggesting mail fraud? She said, ma'am, I have talked with my boss and he said to ask you to send in another file and we will take a look into this if you have another file. I said, oh yeah, I have plenty of files. I will not mail it in though. She interrupted and said, you can hand deliver it. I said, I don't know if I will, but someone will. But I'm not doing anything today, tomorrow, or Friday because my daughter is graduating, so I will bring it in or have it brought in next week. And I said, and what is your name? She said, B. I said, all right, so do I care of B for you to receive this? B said, you can hand deliver it to the receptionist and tell her who it is for. I said, all right, and B, thank you for just calling me back because I really do appreciate that. She said, you're welcome, and we hung up. I'm in such a good mood. I'm so happy with happy tears. I messaged Jen, I messaged Susie, I messaged Carla. I let them know the lady did call me back, and they were happy too, and I was relieved. I didn't work on any of it today though. 8:16 p.m. I worked on some of the information needed for the legal brief. I took quite a bit of pictures to type off when I go to work on the other page in the legal brief page. I worked on it until 11 p.m. and I was ready for bed. Thank you, dear God, for this day and every day. June 3rd, 2022. I worked on the timeline until I couldn't work on it anymore. I relaxed. Later in the evening, we cleaned to get the backyard ready for tomorrow. We're having a party after the graduation ceremony tomorrow evening. And I pray it all works out safely. Madison and I decorated what we could tonight, and we will finish in the morning after it rains overnight. Have a good night, and thank you, dear God, and protect us from evil. June 4th, 2022. Madison and I got up and started decorating what we could until Carla got here. Carla is coming over to help finish things up while Madison gets ready to go to her graduation ceremony. She had to leave at 2:30 p.m. and on her way over to beep, beep, she stopped at the cemetery to visit with Wyatt and Megan before she went to the ceremony. I was so happy she was able to. She sent me a few pictures. She said I couldn't get by Megan because it's muddy and soppy with water. And I was thankful she just went. Carla and I finished everything, and at 4 p.m. we left for the ceremony. The ceremony is nice, and I'm so proud of Madison and all she's achieved. At 8 p.m. we got back to the house and started a small party with her friends and what family members live here in Beep. The party lasted until 11:30 p.m. The kids cleaned up the mess before they all left, and I really do appreciate it. Good group of kiddos, and thank you. June 5th, 2022, 8:36 a.m. Carla messaged. She wrote, my dad has work to do today, so we may be able to drop it off tomorrow. I wrote, oh no, not today. I have a few things to fine tune, so tomorrow will be good, and thank you. When I got up, I had mixed feelings of what to do, and I decided to get the papers in order, and I'm so grateful I copied them all a few days ago. When I got it all together, I looked to see what papers I still needed copied from the office store. There were only 3 sheets. Madison had come home from lunch from work and went with me to copy those papers. I got them copied 5 different times. I also copied the screenshot of the call log of when the city of Beep called me and I called them back. Madison dropped me off at home and she went back to work. I finished getting it all in order and I am hoping to drop it off tomorrow. June 6, 2022, 8:03 a.m. I woke up and thanked God for opening my eyes. I got out of bed and started cleaning. When I was done, I got all the papers in order and in paper clips of the order they go in. I put it in the envelope and addressed it, and I sealed it and put it in the car to not have it in the house when I'm not here. 10:42 p.m. I messaged Carla. I wrote, "Hey, are you going to be able to take this packet in the morning? Let me know, and thank you. And did you work?" I looked at the clock about 7 o'clock and thought, she's probably working. And I thought of calling you and got the phone and turned it on and I messaged Samantha instead. I'm so silly at times. Carla wrote, "Hey, not sure. I talked to my dad. He is in the middle of something and I will have to talk to him again. It may be Wednesday before we can do it. But yeah, I work tonight. And I love you." I wrote, "Oh, good. Okay, let me know." Carla wrote, I will let you know." I wrote, "Hint, sooner the better." Carla wrote, "I get it." I got ready for bed and I said my prayers to God, and I pray He will fulfill this. June 7th, 2022. I was all over the place today in my mind. I couldn't calm myself down by not thinking so much. I decided to work on the timeline while I wait to see if Carla was or was not going today. 1:37 p.m. I messaged Carla. I wrote, "Anything?" Carla wrote, "Yeah, tomorrow. Sorry I was so tired I forgot to mention it to you." 4:44 p.m. I wrote to Carla, "Do you know what time tomorrow you will take it over? Let me know." 5 o'clock p.m. Carla wrote, "Not sure. My dad doesn't get up at the same time every morning, so I will have to let you know." I worked on the timeline most of the afternoon. 8:28 p.m. when I pulled into the cemetery, I started taking pictures of the flooded area in the cemetery as I drove back to Wyatt. We sat with Wyatt for a while and I talked with him. I asked him for help with the AG's office, and that's the Attorney General office. 8:33 p.m. I pulled up to Megan's area, and it's flooded worse. I took pictures until I pulled up to Megan's tree. I talked with her for a little while and asked her to watch over us, to help her Nana get this done for them. After a little while I pulled away, telling my angels I loved them. I pulled away from Megan, still taking pictures of the flooded areas. I took a lot of pictures throughout the cemetery. Dear God, help someone to help this get resolved. 9:12 p.m. when I got home from the cemetery, I messaged Carla. I wrote, "Let me know, are you going for sure tomorrow? Because I will need to go to the bank to get you the money and drop the packet off to you. So let me know when you know, baby." Carla wrote, "Yes, as long as it isn't raining cats and dogs, or until it passes." Well, I hope it is nice. I did work on the timeline when I got back from the cemetery, and I'm getting ready for bed, and I pray it will get there tomorrow. 11:55 p.m. Now, I will wait to see in the morning. June 8, 2022. It's pouring down rain this morning when I woke up. I thanked God and got out of bed. I wanted to go out to sit on the patio to eat my breakfast and drink my juice, but I decided to stay in and wait until I was done eating. I started worrying about getting the file to the Attorney General office. When I was done eating, I went outside to sit on the patio, and as I sat on a two-seater glider, I prayed to God to let me get the packet to the Attorney General's office today. I sat there a few minutes and started to cry. I pray that this would work and I can get the cemetery done and be able to move on in life. 11:19 a.m. Patty called. As we talked about what she was doing, I did mention taking the packet to the Attorney General's office as soon as it stops raining. She said it's been raining like that here too. I said, yeah, I'm sitting on the patio. I was praying to God to let me get the packet down there to them. And I started crying. And as I sat here, I prayed for my babies and myself and family and friends to be protected from evil. Patty thought, wow, I feel for you. 11:24 a.m. I had to put Patty on hold so I could answer the call real fast. It's the Attorney General office. Beep. It was only a minute call, but she said she would call me back in a few minutes. But she did tell me, I have your packet. I said, you have it? She said, yes, I have it. I didn't know where it went to. It doesn't have a name of attention, so I didn't know where it belonged. She said, I received a message from, is it your niece? I said, yes, Jennifer. Beep said, I don't know if that's it or not. I said, Jen? She said, that may have been it. I said, yes, she called Tuesday. I called Wednesday, and a lady called me on Thursday and said they didn't have the packet. I told her I have my receipt where I mailed it and the email receipt where someone picked it up. She said, I have it. Do you know the lady's name you talked to? I said, beep. Beep said, do you know what her last name was? Was it beep, beep? I said, no, I don't know her last name. She just said to put her name on the outside of the envelope after she told me her boss said I could send in another file. Beep said, okay, I'm going to take this down to beep and see where this goes, and I will call you back. I said, all right, and thank you so much. We hung up. 11:27 a.m. I called Patty back. I told her what the lady said, and she said, well, where has the file been? I said, it's been, let's see, as I tried to add up the days and how many days they've had it for, it's been 39 days today. Patty said, wow, something just doesn't add up, Em. I said, oh, I know. I'm waiting for her to call me back, so I will have to hang up if she does. 11:33 a.m. The phone beeped in. It's beep. I answered it, and she said, Emily? I said, yes, She said, the packet is in the right hands. I said, all right, thank you. Beep. I'm sorry I did not put a name on the outside of the envelope. I had no idea what name to put. The next time I will put beep, beep, the Attorney General. Beep said, well, beep, beep is our Attorney General, but we have wall-to-wall attorneys. I said, oh, I'm sorry. I'm new with all this. I just wasn't sure. She said, the next time, or if you have to send any paperwork, put attention to protection unit, then the name. I said, all right, thank you. Beep, and have a nice day. She said, you're welcome, and we will look into this for you. I said, thank you. She said, have a good day, and we hung up. 11:37 a.m. I called Jen. She didn't answer, and I left her a message. 11:38 a.m. I called Carla. I needed to call Carla to let her know I didn't need her and her dad to run the second packet down to them. I said, they have the packet. She said, they do? I said, yes, and we don't have to go now. I told her about how I was sitting on the patio and asked God to help me get the packet to get to them today. And I went into the house and the phone rang, and it was the Attorney General's office calling. She said, that is good. I said, it really is. We talked a few more minutes and we had to let each other go. 11:46 a.m. I called Patty again, and she didn't answer. I went back outside, and while outside, Patty called back. 11:52 a.m. I messaged Susie. I wrote, I love you, Susie. They found the case file. I was having the second case file today down there as soon as the rain stopped, but the Attorney General office called and said they have the case. I'm so happy, but my only concern is I don't know why they've had it since April 26th and just now questioned who it was and where it went. It was so weird. I was sitting on the patio watching it rain, listening to the wind and the traffic on the highway, and I was talking to God to get the second file to the Attorney General office today. And I sat a few minutes and went inside. My phone rang and it was Patty. I talked with her for a few minutes and an unknown name came up. I answered it and it was the Attorney General office telling me, I have the file and I'm so happy and I thank God. 12:11 p.m. Patty called and I missed her call. 12:15 p.m. Patty messaged. She wrote, hey, I gotta plug in and get dinner going. Thunder, loud thunder, so I am not checking on Celeste today. I will try to call you after I charge up. Hope you got good news. 1:08 p.m. Jen called back. I told her what they said and she thinks it's good. But she had her concerns too of the time lapse. We talked about 3 hours. We talked about everything we had not been able to get caught up on. While being on the phone with Jen, Susie messaged. 1:59 p.m. Susie wrote, awesome. I wrote, it really is. When Jen and I hung up, I started my afternoon by finishing the laundry, unloading the dishwasher, and cleaning. 5:00 p.m. Madison came in from work for lunch, and I told her what the Attorney General office said the second time she called. Madison said, that's good, Mom. I said, it really is. Now I don't have to worry about getting that second file to them now. She said, yeah, and try not to worry too much about any of it until you hear from them. I said, oh, I know. I'm going to work on the information with times and dates, and I'm going to try to get that done. She looked at me and agreed. I filled in the timeline of what happened today, and now I'm going to work on the legal brief. June 9th, 2022. Thank God. Bless me, bless the Attorney General office to do right by the people. By Megan. Protect us from evil. I started my day and I got everything done to be able to work on the timeline and get the important dates, times, and events. 5:37 p.m. This evening when I was able to sit down, I worked on it until 7:55 p.m. and I was happy to get part 4 done, I was able to enjoy the rest of the evening and night until I went to bed. Thank you, dear God. June 10th, 2022. In my mind, I know I have another part to finish off the timeline to put it in the legal brief. But for some reason, I just can't get started on that part. God, give me the strength and knowledge to get this done. Protect me, us. Madison and I went to the cemetery. 3:38 p.m. I pulled into the cemetery, and as I pulled up the little hill at the north end of the cemetery, I looked over to see if Megan's flowers were still in the ground. With all the rain we've had, but for some reason, it can rain, pour, flood, her flowers stay right there. She's hanging on to them. And I adore you, Megan. I adore you, Wyatt. I pulled up to Wyatt. We visited with him for a little while. There's even water covering the sidewalk where he is buried. Come on, man. Y'all need to do the right thing and fix this. Do it the right way. I pulled away from Wyatt, and I pulled up to Megan, water laying all over the grounds. Yesterday I'm sure it was flooded worse than it is today. and at times I try to avoid coming here now when it rains so I don't have to see it as bad as it gets. I got tears in my eyes, and I talked with Megan and I asked her to help the Attorney General office to do right by the people. I told my angels we loved them and that Nana and Sissy will come see them in another day or two. I pulled away and I left the cemetery. Madison and I took a little ride before going home. I spent the evening outside and I watched the birds fly. I watched them in the puddles of water, taking baths, drinking the water, and I enjoyed the peace and quiet. And thank you for this day. June 11th, 2022. This day I'm so thankful for. I'm just not feeling all that great. I know a lot of what is going on with me is the stress. My sugar levels have been pretty good, but I feel I'm drained. I pray everyone involved will do right, be truthful, and most of all, be respectable. Madison and I spent a little time together, and I believe she knows when I have to do something else besides worry or stress over all of this. She always seems to know. I don't have the energy after last week and them saying they didn't have the file and that the case was closed. Those kind of things slams me up against the wall. It sets me back and all kinds of thoughts run through my mind. And my biggest question right now is how can the people outside of beep see it, but the people here in this state don't? Or is it they don't want to? It's so tough at times, but the times are what they conflict with by not doing anything. Madison took me shopping. We got something to eat and went home. I pray in the morning I will have a better day tomorrow. Give me the strength to get part 5 done and protect us from evil. And thank you. June 12th, 2022. Happy birthday to my brother John. I thank God for waking me up. I asked him to help me get started on the last part, to get this legal brief done. And I know I need to get it done, and I need to do it sooner than later. Give me the strength. 12:22 p.m. I sat down to work on the timeline, and I worked on it and I worked on it. I took a short break at 2:36 p.m. and I went to grab a pizza for Madison for lunch break from work. When I got back, she came in not long after. When we were done eating, I went back to working on the timeline. I knew part 5 didn't have as much information in it as part 4 did not either, but there has not been a lot going on except what I have been doing. Not many conversations. 8:46 p.m. Carla called. We talked for over an hour, but while I was on the phone with her, I finished the timeline information, dates, and times. 9:50 p.m. I had to call Carla back after I called Madison, checking in on her. I let Madison know I was done getting the timeline done. Madison said, "Good for you, Mom. I knew you could do it. Now all I have to do is put the information in the legal brief, and that won't take me long." But not tonight. June 13th, 2022. I opened my eyes this morning and I had to look around the room to see if I was here. It was a weird moment. My first thought was, I have to do the legal brief today, this morning. I thank God I'm up. I started my morning cleaning to start the timeline of the past 4 days. 11:23 a.m. I got that done. I'm going to work on the legal brief now until noon or 1 o'clock. Then I want to spend some time around the pool, but I will get it done today, hopefully. No, not today. It's been a full day, and I'm going to bed. June 14th, 2022. I thank God this morning that my eyes opened. I worked on the timeline and legal brief a little this morning and early afternoon. Madison is off work today, so we went to the cemetery. 1:43 p.m. Madison pulled in on the west side of the cemetery today. I'm on the passenger side, so it's easier to take pictures from this side of the car if the city is out here. They were here, but in the back of the cemetery working. I took pictures, and Madison saw a city truck coming up behind us, so she drove on. And after we went back to visit with Wyatt, she drove back to Megan's area, and I took some more pictures. I prayed to both of my angels, and we left the cemetery. We went to the country to visit with the horse Dixie. It's nice to get out of the city once in a while. 5:36 p.m. We got back home from the country, and I went to work on the legal brief. It's not like I feel like a pressure to get it done, but I think I will feel relieved when it is. As I spent the evening getting some more of it done, the news came on. News, beep. There is a news segment about a woman that had her dad exhumed because he was buried in the wrong spot. She was wanting to know if she could stand in when they exhume him and when they rebury him at his resting place. I listened and watched. It's getting late, so I stopped typing and got ready for bed. I said my prayers and thought about the segment and fell asleep. June 15th, 2022. I opened my eyes, and the first thing that popped in my mind was about that woman on the news last night. I laid here thinking and looking up at a small glare of sunshine coming through the window shade. 7:38 a.m. I looked up the information on news. Beep, phone number. 7:48 a.m. I called. The call was canceled for some reason. I messaged my niece Jen. I wrote, "Hey baby, there was a news segment on TV last night, and a woman wanted to know if she would be able to," and something stopped me. I laid here thinking. I started messaging Jen again. I wrote, "Hi baby, are you up for making a call to the," something stopped me. I picked up my phone and walked into my family room and sat in a stool close to the window. I called. 7:52 a.m. I called news. Beep. I talked to beep for 7 minutes. I said hello. Beep. I saw a news segment that a woman had to exhume her father because he was laid in the wrong spot in beep, beep, beep. Said, yes, I said yes, she would be able to stand in to exhume her father and be there when they lay him to rest. Beep said, all right. And I said, and I hope it works out better for her than it did me. But they dug up a casket and it was opened, full of water, and they dumped the water on the ground. What? To wash the DNA away? I started to choke up, and it sounded like Beep is crying too. I apologized and said, I'm sorry. I get emotional when I have to talk about it. Beep said, oh no, you're okay. I said on May 7th, 2015, we had 7.1 inches of rain, and it flooded the street and the cemetery. Beep asked, does that cemetery flood like that all the time? I said, yes, every time it rains hard. I visited the cemetery on May 9th, and the headstones had been moved. I took pictures, as I have since 1999 when my granddaughter was laid to rest. But the pictures don't match up. I have pictures, I have reenactment pictures, I have an overlay picture to prove the headstones were moved. They don't want to listen or hear it. I said, I don't know how much I should be telling you because this case is at the Attorney General's office, but I had to go out of state to get help doing that. And if B fails me, I will go out of state to get the help I need. She said, what is your name and phone number? I said, Emily McMahon, and I spelled it out to her and gave her my phone number. Beep said, Emily, I'm going to pass this along to, and I'm not sure who she said, but then said, and I will pass your story on to. I thanked her and told her to have a good day. She said, "Aw, you too," and we hung up. 8:08 a.m. I messaged Jen. I wrote, there was a news segment on news. Beep, a lady in beep, beep. They buried her father in the wrong spot. She was on the news asking the people if it was legal to stand there while they exhumed her father and go with them to his new resting place. I called the news station to let them know she will be able to do that because I went through the same thing in 2019. They dug up the casket, then dumped the water on the ground. DNA's gone. I told her a little bit how the flood moved the headstones, and I have pictures, video, and overlay pictures to prove it, but they don't want to do anything. I said I had to go out of state to get the help, and that's how it's at the AG's office now. They even said they didn't know me, and I didn't have relatives in that cemetery. She listened. She took my name and phone number, and I told her if you call the city will say I'm crazy, and I don't have anything better to do, and I do this all the time. And I said, ma'am, I am not crazy. I do have better things to do. I am a grandmother. She listened, so I may hear from them. And yes, I cried, but not so much that she couldn't understand me. This time I called to help that woman to know she could stand and watch her father be exhumed. Prayers that beep on news, beep helps us. 8:13 a.m., excuse me. I called Susie. We talked about 20 minutes, and I told her about me calling the news station and how it all came about. She was proud of me, and we talked about how I could talk about it this time and not get sobbing emotional. I said I cried, but I believe she was crying too. We talked about the trip her and her grandson were making, and we can't wait to see them. She had to go back to work, so I let her go. And thank you, Susie, for listening. 9:05 a.m. Patty called. I missed her call, but I called her back. 9:12 a.m. I called Patty. We talked for about an hour, and I told her what had transpired yesterday evening and this morning, and she was proud of me for calling. I told her I'm almost done with the legal brief too. Patty asked, how many pages does it have? I said, I don't know. I don't have the pages numbered yet, but it's quite a bit of pages. She said, we can't have it that long. I said, I'm putting the times, dates, and things that happened, and you can decipher through it and write what sounds good with the information. She said, oh, all right. I'm going to look it up and see if there's any way I can represent you with this case. I said, you are? Okay, yeah. I believe here in beep, you can be your own attorney as long as you know the laws. Let's look it up. She said, I will. I'm going to let you go so I can search some information to see what can be done. Let's get this done, Em. We talked about her trip to beep at the beginning of next month. Then we hung up. I went outside to spend a little quiet time. Madison's at work, so it's definitely quiet. When I came in from outside, I started working on the legal brief again. And I know if I stick with it today, I would get it done. 11:53 p.m. I finished the legal brief. I was relieved. It was too late to message anyone or call anyone, so I will wait until tomorrow morning. And thank you, dear God, for giving me the strength, the knowledge, the courage. And have a good night. June 16, 2022, 12:43 a.m. I messaged Lisa. I wrote I finished the rough draft legal brief tonight, and I'm so relieved. Lisa wrote, that's fabulous. Aren't you glad you got that out of the way? I wrote, hell yeah. I've been working on that for over a month in my spare time, but yeah, I'm so glad it's out of the way now. You at work? Lisa wrote, yes, I am, and it's not so bad. I wrote, that's good, huh? Lisa wrote, It was bad earlier, and a patient broke two computers. I wrote, oh no, I'm going to get in the shower and I'll call you when I get done. Lisa wrote, text me when you get out and I'll take a break. I wrote, I will. I fell asleep. I didn't want to get up this morning. I wanted to sleep, but I knew I couldn't. So I got up. I thanked God for this day. When I was done with my breakfast, I started typing in the timeline to get the past couple days written in. I finished at 2:14 p.m. I'm all caught up on all of it. My timeline, the legal brief is done. I can relax for a little bit until I hear something, anything from anyone. God be with me, with us, with Megan and the rest of your angels involved in this. June 17th, 2022. I had a good morning. I'm trying to stay busy while I wait to hear anything. I worked most of the afternoon and evening to finish the proofreading of the legal brief. 8:03 p.m., Madison and I went to the cemetery. I pulled in on the east side and pulled back to Wyatt. We visited with him for a while. There's a haze in the sky, and I didn't need to be out here for too long. I pulled around to visit with Megan. Her flowers are still here, and thank God for that. I took pictures, and her flowers look so perky, just stuck up out of the ground like she's telling me, I'm right here, Nana, and I have my flowers. Or that's how I like to think about it. When we got back from the cemetery, I relaxed. Today, thank you, dear God. Amen. June 18, 19, 2022. Wow, I'm not sure what to do. I know I have been getting a lot of cleaning done for this next weekend, but I was like, I had a clear mind and I haven't felt this in a long time. Things really do happen as they are meant to happen. And I understand that saying now. I didn't realize my clear mind was away from the cemetery, the computer. I didn't even look at the computer. Nothing. Doing what I wanted to do. Doing what I need to do. But when I realized I wasn't thinking about it so much, I thought I needed to step away. And it feels really good. And now I pray God will grant them to see it and do the right thing by the people. City of Beep. Do the right thing. I felt a sigh of relief. I know I still have a fight on my hands, and then again, maybe not. Someone has got to do something for the people and for what they did to Megan. June 20th, 2022, 11:23 a.m. I did turn the computer on for a few minutes to add in the entry for the past 2 days, plus one today in the timeline. It's a new week. I'm staying positive that the state of Beep will do the right thing. The Attorney General will do the right thing. The city of Beep will do the moral and right thing. God be with us. June 21st, 2022. I have been busy, and I'm so busy trying to get everything ready for this coming up weekend. The 2022 graduation party for Madison. I did talk with John and Gail this afternoon, and Gail said she took her car in to get the motor fixed, and that's why they will not be coming down this weekend. Gail said, I talked with Summer. Summer said she has a lot going on, but she will try to call you soon. I said, oh, all right. Did you tell her what's going on lately? Gail said, yes, I did. She asked me if they reopened the case of the Attorney General's office. And I told her I wasn't sure, but they tried to pull some bullshit. I said, yes, they reopened it. Maybe she will call soon. Gail said she would when she got some time. I thanked Gail and she let me talk to John. And man, I hope the Attorney General does the right thing by the people of Beep. And thank you for this day. Thank you for listening. If you have any comments or questions, you can email me at lowercase letters Emily McMahon, EMILY McMahon, MCMAHAN 208 at gmail.com. Stay kind with your words.